Hello and welcome to Understanding Narcissists. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode, which I'm hoping will be a short episode. Hoarding. Narcissists and hoarding. What is the deal with narcissists and stuff, material stuff, and the relationship to stuff? Two observations. Narcissists are hoarders, or they're just stuff destroyers. I think there's some middle ground. There can be some a little more complication to that, where they get rid of your stuff, but they keep and hoard their stuff. But what I find is there's narcissists who pile stuff up and keep a lot of it, if it's organized or not, sort of tucked away and they can't get rid of things. Or they get rid of everything on like a regular basis. And I've seen both. And I've seen both in close proximity. That is where they're related or they know each other, and one's a hoarder and the other gets rid of stuff. I don't know if there's like a parity there, like somehow that one affects the other, or somehow it's a family thing where somebody's a hoarder and the narcissist gets rid of stuff, or somebody gets rid of stuff so the narcissist is a hoarder. I don't know how it works. I just noticed that they always have a dysfunctional relationship with stuff. The most elementary thing I can think of would be like a home, for instance. Narcissists don't have any emotional attachment to most things. They don't really have attachments to anything or anybody for the most part, but there's those exceptions. You know, when you see someone who has a sort of attachment to their home, well, that makes sense. That's where they live every day, and they've had experiences, and they may live with people, and anything they've shared and with others in their home. A narcissist, it's just a box with a roof that they can, mechanically live in for whatever period of time, and should go up in value ideally, and that's it. There's no emotional attachment there for the most part. I see that especially with narcissists, say, in their house. They can get obsessed over it. They can be sort of OCD in that way, over keeping people away from it, or maybe taking good care of it. But there's something about it where there's just no love about where they live. Why did I spend the last minute or so talking about that? It's just something I've observed time and time again, where I see where it kind of jumps out at me with narcissists or narcissistic people. There's just immediately their relationship to possessions, property. It's just very, very different. And it's not just an economic sense. It's not like it's cold and calculating and all about finance or money. It's not really, it's really sort of irrational. It doesn't have to be about that either. It just has to be that they don't. At the very least, they don't care. Sometimes they hate stuff, and this is what I'm trying to figure out now. Maybe they hate stuff because it makes them feel bad. They associate it with a bad experience or something. When they get rid of things, well, that makes sense. When it's your stuff, right? That's a way to control you. That's a way to hurt you. Because you have attachments to things. Even if those things aren't sentimental, but they just bring you great joy, like a bike, right? Because you like to ride your bike. Or something that is important to you, but is not something you use every day or talk about every day. So maybe it has some sentimental value, and then they get rid of that, like, just, it wasn't a big deal. And it's not even like everything's in a public space or in storage and they have access to it. Like, they'll come in and get rid of your stuff. Like, that's what they do. They come in and mess with your stuff. And even when they don't break it, that they do that as well, it's almost like they feel powerful imposing their will on inanimate objects and material things. And like they're little people that they can control, and that somehow can control you because you care about all this stuff. And they also like to do it in front of you to some extent, like behind your back, so that you find out later they can get you. Especially when they're mad and that doesn't get resolved, they can break your things, get rid of your stuff. But also, how disrespectful they are towards your stuff, and I think how that kind of eventually gets around to you, sort of as a display that I just don't care about you and you're not important, that kind of thing. Everything is devaluing, remember? Everything is to make you feel worthless, and that helps them do so. You're just not important. You have no control. You should have no choice or say in the matter. You have no competence in anything important that anybody cares about. That kind of stuff. And damaging your stuff, getting rid of your stuff, doing it in front of you to some extent, not necessarily breaking your things right in front of you to make a point, but just messing, moving things around. It's a weird thing I've experienced so many times. And it also tends to enrage because it's so invasive and aggressive. And so it can kind of trigger you, I think, in a way that will get you to respond the way they want, so they can get something out of you, whatever it is. Let me get back on topic here, because I've talked about narcissists doing that before. What is their mentality with things? Why do they do it? And whether they hoard things, which I've seen narcissists do, is it just a separate thing? I don't think so. It somehow plays into it, because they always have a problem with possessions. And I would guess that the majority of narcissists get rid of stuff. Because on the opposite end are the narcissists who compulsively, on an almost regular basis, get rid of things out of some kind of anxiety. And I don't know what that is either. I don't know why it causes them to be anxious. It's nice to be neat and organized, but that's not necessarily why they're doing it. They get rid of things that they shouldn't get rid of, that they just buy again. Doesn't make any sense. They don't value things. They get rid of them. They have to get them again because they're still necessary. It's irrational. But I don't think it's fair necessarily to say that they value things when they hoard them. So trying to consolidate it under that sort of umbrella, that similarity, if they don't value them, which I can't say that the hoarders value anything either. They just do it sort of out of anxiety, out of control. That's what I'll say. I think they do it because it makes them feel like maybe the keepers of the family or whatever. Because remember, narcissists operate in family units, really. I mean, not everywhere. I understand that, but they're about the family. They're about the couple. They're about the relationship or whatever it is, the people around them. They've got to get as many people around them and control them. And family is often a great way to do that. And they become dependent on it. And I wonder if the material hoarding somehow contributes to that sense of control. And the narcissists I've seen and know who get rid of stuff on a regular basis compulsively, they have to do it, they feel a sense of control from that. But I don't know what the variation is. I don't know what the switch is, why they go one way or the other. But I would say it's probably something, for whatever reason, childhood, I don't know. I'm sure it was formative. I'm sure it was a long, long time ago that it developed. They do these things because it somehow empowers them. Empower is the wrong word, because I only use empower when it's positive. But it somehow is a way to impose themselves and their will on everyone else. The hoarders keep everything. They use the space to control and keep things and you can't touch them, and they can't go without them. And the people who get rid of, the ones who get rid of stuff compulsively, like they really can't stop it. They're able to control all of that space. They don't let things pile up. And they get rid of things that are even useful and beneficial and necessary, even maybe to day-to-day life. And they do it repeatedly. And that's a form of control and imposing their will on everybody else, because they like to pressure you to get rid of your stuff, the stuff they can't control. I think it might be property. I think it's something where it represents their control. If they can keep it, right, when it's theirs, and it represents control when they can get rid of it, when it's yours. And it's just a natural extension of control, because you care about your stuff. And if they can get rid of your stuff, they can get at you, and that hurts, and it allows them to control you, which is what they need. And it's certainly not something they're going to let go of anytime soon. I've never seen a narcissist that doesn't have an interest in material things and controlling them, because they'll control and really do anything that will influence you and give them especially a sort of a lever to influence you long term, and coordinate all of those things, use those things together as best and most efficiently as they possibly can to cover all their bases, give you no room to live or express yourself. And it makes sense, because they want to own your mind. They want to censor your emotions and tell you what that is all about. And it only makes sense that they would control the living space, your stuff, and I guess impose their stuff on you. Anyway, I hope this video wasn't repetitive. I hope it didn't ramble on too long. I hope you found it useful. Like it if you do. Share it with somebody you think you might also like it and benefit from it. Comment in the comment section below about your opinions and experience on this matter. I think I've pretty well much shared mine. And any other thoughts on it? Because I think I kind of came up empty for this video. I thought I was going to have more things to say, but it's just something I've observed, and I'm not really sure. I don't know. Maybe it's just some narcissists or hoarders like anybody else, and they keep stuff because there's, I don't know, a hole in them, and they need more things, and it makes them feel better. And I'm just not educated on the matter, and so I don't have a lot of opinions on the subject, but I still feel like I should let you know that I've seen the same thing, and I don't know why it's going on, and it's always going on in some form or another, their dysfunctional relationship to stuff. So share your thoughts on the matter and what you've experienced and what you think is going on. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me in this channel and this cause and everyone else. And I'll see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day. Bye.